Greetings, everyone. My name is AJ, and I'm excited and honored to be here sharing this information with you that I hope you'll find interesting, helpful, and maybe even have a bit of fun along the way. When I talk about brain health, I like to talk about it in terms of how we can not only minimize our risk, but also maximize our function. What are we minimizing our risk for? Well, as we age, our risk increases for developing cognitive-related disorders, such as mild cognitive impairment, and various types of dementias, such as Alzheimer's. While our risk for those conditions increases as we age, so also does simple age-related cognitive decline. And we can maximize what function we still have and be able to maintain that function for as long as possible. So let's go ahead and jump in. First, I have some questions for you. Now, don't worry, it's not a quiz. That comes later. I want you to look at and answer each of these questions. I believe each of us will answer or should answer yes to that first question, because if we're not getting older, something's wrong, okay? The alternative isn't good. We haven't found a cure for that yet. We are all aging daily. But take a look at some of these other questions. Do you have diabetes? High blood pressure? Do you have a family member who was diagnosed with dementia before age 65? Do you eat a lot of fried foods? Do you weigh more than you should? Do you avoid socializing? Do you have a lot of stress in your life? And do you cope with it by drinking a lot of alcohol? Do you do a lot of sitting down? Do you watch TV more than 3 hours a day? Well, if you said yes to any of those questions, guess what? Good news, you can minimize your risk of cognitive decline. So how do we do that and maximize our function and brain health? We must use what we have and get the right help when we need it. A very simple message that most of you have heard before: what's good for your heart is good for your brain. So when you think about all the ways you've learned to keep your heart healthy, those are also ways to keep your brain healthy. So with that being said, the three main ways that we can keep our brain healthy: we have to exercise more, use our brain, and eat right. So we're going to dig in a bit more into each of these strategies. Exercise. Okay, if you don't like that word, I'll use the word move or be active. We have to move more. I don't think I need to belabor all the benefits of exercise here, but just a few key points to know is that oxygen is so important to our brain function, as well as glucose. Glucose is our brain's energy source. And so having good flow to our brain is going to help keep our brain functioning the way it should. And exercise supports this blood flow to the brain. When we move and exercise, endorphins are released. And endorphins are often called the feel-good chemicals, as they can help to boost our mood and even alleviate pain. These endorphins can also alleviate depression and anxiety. Exercise also helps with combating the negative effects of cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone that in the short term helps us respond to stressful and dangerous situations. However, if we're constantly stressed and that cortisol level remains high, it can be toxic to the brain over time. This is why managing your stress level is important in minimizing the risk of cognitive decline. Additionally, studies also show that exercise can improve our focus, reasoning, and even our memory. So at a minimum, focus on getting 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. There's a wealth of devices that can help track movement and steps these days. If you're just starting out and trying to move more, tracking your steps can be a simple way to get moving. Target 30 to 60 minutes a day for most days of the week, and you want that to be moderately intense aerobic activity. Think about moderate intensity as where you can carry on a conversation with others without gasping for air. Talking should take a little bit more effort than usual, but you still should be able to carry on that conversation. Use your brain. It is true, that old saying, use it or lose it. In cognitive terms, it's called synaptic pruning. Essentially, the brain's going to remove those connections that aren't being used because it thinks that it's no longer necessary. How we use our brain is important as well. You've likely all heard the importance of doing puzzles such as Sudoku, crossword puzzles, and it's true. Those absolutely are great ways to utilize your brain. However, it's so much more than that. Stretch your brain in ways that are different than what you typically do. Learn something new, a new skill like playing an instrument or learning a new language. Take a class. So many of our colleges and universities offer lifelong learning programs on a multitude of topics. And with virtual learning so available these days, the opportunities really are limitless to what you could become a part of and learn. Join a study group or a book club. Not only are you using your brain by learning, but by sharing with others, you get the social benefit as well. And we'll talk about that in a bit. Dancing is one of the greatest ways to exercise your brain. Learning the new moves, being able to apply them to your body, and remembering them. Plus, the added benefit of physical exertion and movement. Boom, two birds, one stone. Look, don't be afraid to try something new and different. Stretch your comfort zone a bit. You may find something new that you enjoy. Lots of benefits on cognitive training or brain training, as it may be called. Lots of research has been done demonstrating the benefits of this type of training. It has been demonstrated to not only improve brain function, but even slow down cognitive decline as you age. When you work out your brain, similar to how you work out different muscles, you also want to focus on what is called different domains of cognition. There's 5 of them: computation, visual spatial, critical thinking, memory, and language. So crossword puzzles and Sudoku are great, but they're only exercising and utilizing your brain in 1 or 2 of those domains. Here are just a few of the many statements from organizations and researchers that state the benefits of cognitive stimulation. Even for those that may already have a diagnosis of dementia, participating in cognitive stimulation can help slow decline and maintain function. I want to emphasize here and call attention to the AARP's statement. It's not just about running 3 times a week. Instead, it's about a package of behaviors, including aerobic exercise, strength training, a healthy diet, sleep, and cognitive training. So essentially what they're saying is it's a balance of all of these strategies that's going to help maximize function and minimize risk for cognitive decline. You can't sit on the couch doing crossword puzzles all day. You can't just exercise 3 times a week and then spend the rest of the time in front of the TV eating junk food. It's not going to work. It's about balance and a holistic approach to taking care of your brain, which also translates into taking care of your whole body. So let's do a little cognitive stimulation of our own. We'll start out with some warm-up exercises. Let's match some opposites. Okay, so what's the opposite of lost? Found, always, never, rare, common, wise, foolish, cheap, expensive, sweet, sour. Easy, right? Let's do some computation. 3 plus 4, 7. 2 plus 3, 5. 12 plus 2, 14. 7 plus 3, 10. 4 plus 5, 8 plus 12. All right, how'd you do? I know, they're pretty easy. But remember, these are just getting our brains warmed up. Let's do some visual spatial work. What comes next in this first pattern? The triangle or the cross? Haha, very good. The triangle. And what about that next pattern there? You got it. It's the cross that comes next. Great job. Now for some more language activities. Anagrams are words that are formed using the letters of another word. So for this exercise, we're going to take the word on the left and try and match it with its anagram on the right. The word dairy has an anagram of, yep, diary, right there on the right. What about wander? Yep, downer. Dozen, zoned. Dryer, rider. Eager, agree. And then fiber, to brief. Excellent. Some more math. 10 plus 7 minus 2, 15. 6 plus 3, subtract 4, add 3, 8. Very good. 15 plus 3 minus 8 plus 9, 19. 6 plus 5, subtract 1, add 6, subtract 6, 10. All right, last one. 17 plus 3, subtract 5, plus 5, subtract 3. 17. Excellent. All right. Now let's test our memory and critical thinking skills. Name the towers there in those photos. Yep, that's the Eiffel Tower. And Big Ben is the second one. And the third one there on the right, the Empire State Building. Excellent. All right, now everybody's favorite, memory, specifically working memory. Working memory refers to your ability to manipulate and remember information over a short period of time. It's very similar to short-term memory, but when we use the term working memory, we're emphasizing the manipulation of information. For example, if someone gave you a telephone number to write down, you might have to silently repeat the numbers to yourself while you're searching for something to write with. And that's going to be harder if you're trying to continue to talk to the person as you're looking for something to write with. Your ability to follow along with that conversation while also looking for something to write with and while repeating those numbers to yourself, that's your working memory. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to remember this list of words. Okay, and to help us do that, what we're going to do is we're going to say the words, see the words, hear the words as we say them, arrange them in some order, and then see it again. Okay, so let's say the words together: candy, champagne, Cupid, hearts, love, ring, roses. Okay, and again: candy, champagne, Cupid, hearts, love, ring, roses. Now let's see pictures of the words, and we're going to repeat the words as we see the pictures. Okay. Candy, champagne, Cupid, hearts, love, ring, and roses. And then we're going to arrange them in some sort of order, which for this exercise is going to be alphabetical, right? So candy, champagne, Cupid, hearts, love, ring, roses. Got it? Okay, keep that list of words in your head. Let's do some more computation. 6 plus 8, 14. 20 subtract 4, 16. Very good. 3 times 15, 45. And 24 times 2. Excellent. All right. Now back to our memory challenge. What were those lists of words that I asked you to remember? Candy, champagne, Cupid, hearts, love, ring, roses. How'd you do? Did you get them all? Look, I promised we'd get a bit more challenging here. Okay, so are you ready? Next, we're going to try to find the pattern in these numbers to complete the sequence. Okay, I'm going to give you a bit more time to work through these. In that first pattern, you got to multiply by 3 to finish that sequence there. Next. So you're subtracting 4 from each of those numbers to get 5 to complete the sequence. Good, 15. So you're going to subtract 20 from each of those numbers. And the fourth line there, that we're dividing by 2 to get 12 as the completion of that pattern. And the last one, Excellent. You're multiplying each of those numbers by 4 to get the completion, which is 256. Awesome. Okay. Now, more language. We're going to link these words together. So we're trying to find the word that's going to link those two words that you see there. So I'll give you the first one: sailboat, boathouse. Okay, so based on that, what do you think the next one is? Pan, blank, blank plate. All right, pancake, cake plate. Bed, blank, blank clock. Bedtime, time clock. Butter, blank, blank fish. Good. Butterfly and fly fish. All right, great job. Take a deep breath. Whew, we are done. I hope you played along and were able to work through some of those problems with me. Look, and if you didn't get some of them correct, don't worry. The fact that you tried and worked your brain attempting to solve the problems still resulted in your brain being exercised and challenged. All right, so we've talked about the importance of exercise and using our brain. Let's talk about eating right and the impact of our diet on our brain health. I doubt any of these bullet points are going to come as a surprise to you. But here again, it's about balance and moderation. Less fried food, more fruits and veggies, hydrating yourself, eating foods with antioxidants like berries, leafy greens, red wine, and you'll note that it says 1 glass, not multiples per day. Research demonstrates that eating more of certain foods and avoiding or less of some other foods has been shown to slow brain aging by 7.5 years and lessen the chances of developing Alzheimer's disease. That's pretty impactful, okay? The MIND diet was developed as a hybrid of 2 existing diets that were based on decades of research, both the DASH diet and the Mediterranean diet. University researchers developed the MIND diet to emphasize foods that impact brain health. So that diet includes lots of veggies, okay? Just like your mom always told you, eat your vegetables, okay? But specifically, researchers found that the green leafy ones like kale, collards, and spinach, they were specifically shown to lower the risk of dementia and cognitive decline. Packed with nutrients that are linked to better brain health, like vitamin E, folate, and flavonoids. 1 serving a day has been shown to slow brain aging. Also, lots of berries, okay? There was a 20-year study of over 16,000 older adults that demonstrated those who ate the most blueberries and strawberries had the slowest rates of cognitive decline. And they attributed that to the high levels of flavonoids in those berries. Snack on nuts. Okay, use nuts to snack on instead of that prepackaged processed stuff. They may be high in calories and fat, nuts are, but they're also packed with the fat-soluble vitamin E, which is known for its brain protective qualities. Okay, cook with olive oil, another Mediterranean diet staple that is present in the MIND diet is olive oil. Researchers recommend using it as your primary cooking oil to replace butter and margarine. Eat more meat-free meals, okay? Consume meat sparingly. Beans, lentils, and soybeans have a lot of protein and fiber, and they are a worthy substitute for meat. They're going to keep you full. They're rich in B vitamins, which is very important for brain health. In one study that analyzed the diets of older adults, those who had the lowest intake of legumes had a greater cognitive decline than those who ate more. Have fish once a week. Adults age 65 and older who ate fish once a week or more scored better on memory tests and tricky number games than those who had seafood less often. And then a glass of wine, okay? While too much alcohol is definitely harmful to the brain and your overall health, studies do suggest that light to moderate drinking can lower the risk of dementia, and it could delay the onset of Alzheimer's by 2 or 3 years, which is pretty significant. One possible reason they say for this is that it seems to help blood flow, making it less sticky and less prone to potentially harmful clotting. However, given the risks of alcohol, it's probably not a good idea to start drinking just for the brain benefit. But if you already enjoy a glass of wine with dinner, feel free to continue that habit. on the mind diet and enjoy those brain health benefits. Research has also shown us that being social and having close relationships with others may result in less cognitive decline as we age. Social activities work our brain in different ways than performing tasks or solving problems, and this supports our brain's function. While it certainly may be harder to do as we age, it becomes even more important to develop and maintain those social networks. I'm not talking about Facebook or Instagram, okay? I'm talking about meaningful relationships that provide a sense of purpose and belonging. Get involved in volunteering, be a part of a ministry, a book or a study group that we talked about earlier. And we also talked about taking a class earlier when we were talking about using our brain. One thing you may think about too is teaching a class. Maybe you have a skill set or a knowledge base that you could teach others in one of those lifelong learning classes. Reach out to your local college or university and see if they have a need for teachers in different areas. Let's chat about sleep for a minute. Once again, there's lots of evidence that demonstrates poor and inadequate amounts of sleep can lead to challenges with memory, concentration, and focus. This is because that as we sleep, our brain stores memories and information from the previous day. And it's not just about the length of time you're sleeping, but also the quality of your sleep. I believe there's even a session later today about healthy sleep and its impact on aging well. So I encourage you to participate in that, where you can learn more about how sleep impacts your overall health. Other things that you can do to maximize function and minimize risk: stop smoking, lose weight. Some of these we've already talked about: socializing, getting enough sleep, laugh, find ways to alleviate your stress. Get support for conditions such as sleep apnea and depression. Control your blood pressure and diabetes, and take your medicines carefully. Medications taken incorrectly or taken with other medications can have interactions that could impact cognitive health. So pay attention, ask questions, and as I always say, be curious with your pharmacist and your prescriber about all the various medications that you're taking. I wanted to share some brief information about mild cognitive impairment, or MCI. The Alzheimer's Association defines mild cognitive impairment as an early stage of memory loss or other cognitive ability loss in people who maintain the ability to independently perform most activities of daily living. Signs of MCI may include frequently losing items, forgetting to go to appointments or events, having more trouble coming up with words than other people of the same age. Family and friends may notice these memory lapses, and the person with MCI may worry about losing his or her memory. However, the person will still be able to carry out most of their day-to-day activities without any problems. Okay, so you may notice it and be worried about it. Your friends and family may notice and say something to you, but you're still able to live your life the way you have and do all the things you used to do. It might be MCI. Okay. In some cases, though, these memory and thinking problems may be caused by conditions that are treatable. Okay. It could be medication interaction, infections, and several other conditions that could be the cause of the cognitive difficulties. A doctor can perform tests and assessments to help understand whether the source of memory problems is something treatable, or they may diagnose it as mild cognitive impairment. The doctor may also suggest that the person see a specialist to get more tests. It is estimated that 10 to 20% of people age 65 or older with MCI do develop dementia over a 1-year period. However, not everyone who has MCI develops dementia. In many cases, the symptoms of MCI may stay the same or even improve. If you're having trouble with your memory and thinking, I strongly encourage you to talk with your doctor about it. Yes, some age-related cognitive decline is normal and expected, but if you're thinking about it and worried about it, and especially if your family and friends are concerned and talking with you about it, get checked out. As I indicated, it could be something else going on, and even if it is MCI, all that we've just discussed still applies. You can still maintain function and minimize risk that the impairment progresses. Practicing all these strategies that we've discussed here will ensure that you have the best chance at continuing to age successfully. I hope the information that I've shared here has been helpful. I've enjoyed sharing this time with you, and thank you for your participation. Be well and take care of all of you, and your brain will thank you. Thanks, everyone.